Hello and welcome to episode 10, Koi to the Producer review. This week's episode was Dawn of the Farewell. Thankfully, I don't have as much as I had to say last episode. So this episode I've got a few less notes, but it means we can go into things a little bit more detailed. We open on a bit of a recap, so we catch with Ares telling MC to go to the tower, and we catch up on the fight between the two where she's telling him that he's not Lucian. I don't believe that Lucian would say or do anything to hurt me. We end on a nice line from her going, who decided that fate cannot be changed, which is quite nice. Also, a little visual in that it is close to Christmas, so we kind of got a Christmas visual on that. I don't remember the Christmas thing, but I definitely think we've had a few Christmases in game. So that was essentially our open, just a bit of a brief recap. It is interesting to note this episode takes place at nighttime. Dawn of the Farewell, our big events happen straight at dawn. So we essentially open after our credits have finished rolling. At the base of the tower, MC is looking up and it is surrounded by Black Swan, who is everywhere. I did also wonder this last episode, but I'll briefly mention it now. The tower itself looks a bit like a queen chess piece, or just a general chess piece in general. It's a very odd shape. Don't know if I got a complete picture of it. I might have a picture from last week I'll quickly throw up. But like we've already established in the many episodes I've done now, there's a lot of foreshadowing, a lot of symbology running through this. However, this episode, there's no flower breakdowns. We did briefly see some flowers, but don't think I need to go into them. But there are a lot of points where there's a lot of foreshadowing, which I want to mention. Let's kick off with Kiro being the king of the jump scares, and he jump scares MC. This is the second time now where he's appeared, and he's jump scared her. He says himself, I've been researching the evolvers which are going berserk, and he helps her get into the basement of the building, so I think they go down a tunnel and they're in there. I like the fact that he's still calling her potato chip princess or potato chip Hime. I love that. That's always been Kiro's thing. He manages to open the door, and there's a bit where she kind of thanks him, and he gets a bit of a really odd reaction, which I've kind of honed in on because I caught it, and I'm pretty sure they haven't done that for no reason. You can see that Kiro is very angry about whoever is making the evolves go berserk, and he says, I can't forgive them. And then MC asks about the retirement issue, because last episode we found out Kiro had retired. Kiro says that he had no choice, he doesn't want to put his fans in any more danger. He said, right now, I'm keeping my evolve in check so he doesn't have to use it. His evolve's a bit of an odd one where he can probably get away with not using it. It is charming, so he has the ability to charm people into doing things. He didn't really need to use it this episode. We did see him use it this episode, but we will get there in a moment because something very important happened then. Let's cut now to... I like this guy, but annoyingly he didn't really come to much this episode. So we cut to a coin, and this coin gets flipped into the air, and it slowly flips. It kind of does like somersaults in the air, so whoever is flipping it has the power to control it. The grey-haired glasses guy, I thought this guy was awesome. So he's inside a control centre overwatching the tower, so he's probably just the guy they've left in charge of the tower. Kiro being our hacking genius, we can see that he's hacked into the system and he is working out the quickest way to get to the top of the tower. The transmitter, of course, is at the top of the tower. It had to be at the top. And he manages to work out a safe route. He does mention that we're going to be going outside. And then this is the bit where we get MC getting really nervous about maybe it's the heights, whether it's the fact that they've got to go and climb outside. This is your first bit of foreshadowing. And obviously, like I said, watch this review after you've seen the episode, okay? Otherwise I'm just about to spoil it for you. This is foreshadowing for the bit where she goes outside and falls off. And this is also foreshadowing for the fact that both her and Kiro both fall out the tower this episode. A bit of foreshadowing going on there if you just kind of slowly pick up on it. It wasn't really subtle, so hopefully I didn't spoil that for you guys. They head to the lift and they start to go up. But in the corner of the lift we see a coin, and the coin starts to float. I would expect the coin to do that if they were going down. So the coin kind of floats. We can see that the guy with glasses, who I think the design is really cool on this guy, but he doesn't turn into very much. He asks, is someone using the elevator? And according to the visuals they get on their displays, that nobody isn't using them. But we know that Kiro, he's a hack. He's made it so it doesn't look like the towers are moving. Inside the elevator, we get this really pretty visual scene of the two overlooking Loveland at night. It is super beautiful. I love it. It's just a shame that it couldn't be in better circumstances. Kiro is like, we need to come back here at some point and have pancakes. And he goes off into he goes into a bit of a rampage about talking about sweets and pancakes and everything under the works, and agreed that they will come back eventually at some point. The lift stops early, and so does the music. So I like the fact that we got this really nice bit of music playing for them both in the elevator, and as soon as it stops, the music stopped as well. As they come out, we start to find that some of the, I'm going to call them the associates of Black Swan. The Black Swan associates are all wearing collars. And I picked up on the collars before MC did. We see, which is quite clever, Kiro manages to jack into the tower and he brings up this awesome light display, which is able to distract some of these people. This scene is really pretty, and this is the only time we see flowers this episode. I don't want to go into them because I don't really think, I think they are just generic flowers that are being up on the screen. I mean, they could be primroses. I don't really want to go into it because I don't think it means much this time round. I do think it is just him trying to distract them. The scene is really pretty. The columns light up. That I do like the visuals on this bit. That, to be fair, this episode's got some really nice visuals, even though the plot itself is a little bit patchy at times. To be fair, not a lot going on this episode compared to the last two we've seen. We see Kiro go and fight some of the members, and he tells MC to go and hide, but MC then notices the collars, and we can see Kiro hacking, and he hacks these cool robots. So I'm guessing as you go to the tower, these robots follow you around. They ask if you're having a good day. Information robots. There's a few moments during this episode where I had to suspend my disbelief. I can buy into the robot thing. He hacks into them and he sends the robots towards the guys. And we see that one of the guys rips off his shirt and he is like this rippling muscle man. He is an evolver. And MC thinks it's a bit weird. She's like, how is he using his evolve when everybody else in his tower or outside the tower is being affected by the waves? The muscle guy smashing up the robots to bits. The robots get destroyed. And the guy calls them out saying, have you got any more tricks to throw it? MC runs out to grab a collar, kind of throws it at Kiro, and she tells him to hurry up and investigate it. This is where I had to go, okay, we're stretching things a little bit here. Kiro is able to jack into the collar because he apparently has the correct technology with him. This is the only bit I've got to say is I gotta stretch my imagination here. You're telling me that the Black Swan technology, which is probably very high tech, and Kiro is somehow carrying the correct cable to jack into it. A little bit of a stretch there. So the collar turns out to block the electromagnetic waves and allowing people to use their evolves as they wish, which I kind of think was a bit obvious. Kiro says that I'm going to go and crash the main system because there must be a main system kind of controlling these collars, which I think is a bit of a stupid move. What we see happen is all the collar wearers everywhere, they get knocked out, but they all get these headaches and their kind of powers go a little bit crazy. I just thought this was a little bit of a rubbish plan. Like, oh sure, the end goal is to take them all down, which is great. But bear in mind, they didn't know what would happen if they wipe out the collars, because we've got these waves going around which are causing these evolves to go crazy. If these people happen to be evolves, there's a lot of powers going crazy right now, which could have been more counterintuitive than anything else. I feel like this plan was a little bit stupid. We then go into the fight with the glasses guy, who I thought was so cool. I feel like they could have done more with him. We get into a fight between Kiro and this guy. This guy has powers of magnetism. He is able to control metal. We see a metal clip thrown into Kiro, who gets kind of stuck to the wall. He also throws up these metal poles, and he's able to throw them at Kiro. Kiro is stuck to a glass. He's in glass. So Kiro is now kind of stuck to this glass, and it's cracking around him. This was where your foreshadowing came in before. Kiro gets knocked through the glass and out of the tower, which is where you get your halfway kind of scene. We get our cut point. I thought it was clever. I knew because I saw the foreshadowing that this was going to happen. Not going to get many points for unpredictability here. It's a little bit predictable. We cut into something quite nice now, which is Kiro's backstory. We find out that Kiro can only really remember being in the hospital lab, so he doesn't know when his own birthday was, and he can only really remember being inside this hospital that these child experiments taking place on. But at one point we see that they go and collect one of the childs, presumably to go and do an experiment, and they leave the door open because apparently they don't have enough staff to make sure that the doors are locked. Kiro walks out and he hears a girl crying. MC is hooked up to a machine and she's crying, and Kiro, seeing her, decides to give her his bear, and she goes to give him candy but then doesn't have candy. She kind of promises that she will give him candy at some point, and that's where it cuts back to Kiro falling down. And this is where we've got to suspend our disbelief again. I struggle to believe this next section, even though it's anime, I know. He grabs one of the metal poles in the air and flashbacks kind of fired him right up. He grabs it and he stabs this metal pipe into the tower support, which I don't get it, because we see him thrown out the tower, like almost it's going outwards away from the tower as he's thrown out, but he's somehow able to kind of use his pole to stab into the tower. And we hear him say, "I will protect you no matter what." Back to the cool guy, who I think is really cool, as I haven't said like 5 times now. Glasses guy says that maybe it's my old age, but I just, I don't trust people. I kind of wired my collar up to a different circuit for good reason. And he's like, "You can come with me now." And he explains his magnetism evolve and the fact that this tower has been made with a lot of pipes that he can like manipulate. We see one of the broken robots come towards them, and MC is able to like throw it at him, and the robot shocks the guy, which kind of wipes him out for a little bit on the floor, and MC is able to use the distraction to run away up the staircase. But this doesn't kind of keep him down for very long, and he's able to use the powers, the metal bars, to kind of stop her getting through again, even though according to the image we see, she could have run around those pipes. He's not exactly manipulating it in a way that she can't get through. He says that you need to stop running, or you too will fall from the tower, Queen. And then we hear a voice ringing out over the loudspeakers, and it's Kiro telling the guy that he shouldn't be bullying girls. He says that he's going to beat all the bad guys, and we see him filling the area with smoke. The guy asks, show yourself, and Kiro drops the pole from the roof that he had, and it distracts the guy to go in that direction. Kiro pushes him and the guy out the glasses out the tower again, so they get caught on the metal grid, which is very lucky. There's a lot of suspending disbelief in this episode, and he manages to take the guy's collar off him, and he then climbs back up. So back up with MC, she offers him some candy, which causes Kiro to have that flashback again, and he's quite happy. He says, "When this is over, let's go on a sweet tour." And then that's when we get our next bit of foreshadowing. That in itself is foreshadowing, because we know it's not gonna happen. We've seen this before when Lucian was like, "When this is all over, we'll go fly a kite." Foreshadowing, it doesn't happen. This is mentioned to make you feel, yeah, things are normal, but you don't trust it. We get interrupted by the reinforcements arriving, and the guys head back up. They are now on the outside bit of the tower, where obviously before MC had that very bad kind of negative vibe when he said outside the tower. We're getting to it, guys. We're getting to the foreshadowing. As well, dawn is starting to break, so we also know that this is the title of the episode, something bad's about to happen. Somehow the reinforcements catch up very quickly, so I just... it's fine. I'm gonna just pretend to believe it. Kiro starts to struggle as he gets higher and higher, probably from the transmitter kind of giving off its power. So he starts to really struggle as they're nearly there. He says, "I've made up my mind to protect you." I've put a little comment here, and it probably won't mean anything to anybody but game players. The hair color's starting to change. The hair's a little bit lighter on top. And then we get the eye colour change. So I'm like, oh no, it's happening. Kiro's eye changes to gold, and he uses his powers on MC. And he says, "I order you to go onto the roof and close the door and don't let anyone in, even myself." Whew. I've got to say, I'm very shocked this actually works on the Queen, to be fair. I'm like, this actually works. Her body starts to move against her will. In her head is still like, "Don't do this," kind of thing. So she's kind of fighting it mentally, but she can't physically stop herself going. As she walks towards the door, we get a brief moment where the blue eye is visible. And that's when he says, "I promise to return one day, potato chip princess, wait for me." And then the door is closed. And that is our dawn farewell. That's it. Kiro is gone. She can't open the door. And we hear this kind of gunshots, and that's it. MC then really upset because this is the second time she's had to say goodbye to somebody who's promised to do something. And she's like, "Didn't you say we'll save everybody together?" in tears. She looks upwards, and we can see the transmitter on top. And this is when she kind of goes all badass, and she picks up this pole and starts to climb kind of the ladder. And the transmitter starts to affect her, so she kind of grabs her head. She kind of gets affected by it as she climbs. And MC smash! This is the foreshadowing as well. So let's quickly take a little breather before we go into what I really like. She smashes the transmitter, and that's gone. And then we see this kind of really strong wind blow her backwards. And then the foreshadowing, because essentially the foreshadowing was she was really nervous about having to go outside and up. We've already seen that we've had Kiro half drop. We now get this moment where the foreshadowing turns out to be real. MC is blown off the roof. I don't know. I mean, I guess, it's a tower. It's probably strong enough to blow you off. Maybe. Like I said, there's a lot of having to suspend your disbelief this episode. And she does this really cool thing where she kind of puts her arms out and she falls backwards off the roof. Behind her, we've got the sun breaking. I love this visual. I really love this visual. I can't express how much I love this visual. She says, be safe. And it kind of transmissions into like a flashback of all the guys that she's met. Because I guess she thinks, that's it, I'm going to die. This as well, I absolutely adore this bit where Gavin appears upside down to rescue her, and he kind of pulls her upside down into his chest, and he says, I'll be with you until the end. And then we get the end theme start to play. That end bit there, that transition, I love that transition. I think it's amazing. In fact, I would have been happy if it ended there and didn't give us a preview for next episode. I think it would have probably played off a little bit better. Because I've seen the preview for next episode, I'm not worried because I saw MC. I know she's okay. It's fine. I think they've kind of missed a little trick here where they could have just, and then have it cut to black kind of thing and just leave it. I think that would have worked a lot better than kind of showing us the next end credits. Because they gave them to them, we are going to mention them. Our next episode is called At the Edge of Coming Times. At the end credits scene, we can see that at Black Swan headquarters, a man tells Hades the amplifier has stopped. Hades is not concerned by this because it has created a situation in the town where people are starting to panic, and he's already said that people will evolve. You know, in face of danger, you have to evolve or you kind of perish. So he's not bothered. It's done its job. That's fine. He's fine with the results. We then see our evil boy Eris. We're calling him Eris now, so if you're wondering why I'm not calling him Lucien anymore, at this point on, Lucien's alter ego is Eris. We're going to call him Eris, try and distinguish between the two. Eris is looking down at a dream vision system. Bear in mind, this guy's got a horrible power to be on the bad side. It's one of those powers where you don't want this power against you. And there's been a few times where in animes like My Hero Academia where a character will, on the good side, will have a very scary power and you're like, thank God you're not facing off against that power. This is one of those powers where you don't want this guy who can manipulate dreams, manipulate kind of what you see kind of thing. You don't want this guy against you. This guy's got like the worst power to be on the evil side, and it kind of gives us a little hint of what it does, that people are starting to sleep. There is a woman sleeping and a child is trying to wake her up and she doesn't sleep, and we see the ambulance go by and it kind of seemingly crashes. We then see Goldman at the LFG headquarters and he's on a phone going, well, we don't know where Victor is. I'll tell you when he gets back. I too want to know where Victor is. And then we see Victor walking up to him and he's like, can you assemble everybody? I've got something I want them to start work on immediately. I have my reservations about that. Next episode seems to be one where we're going to have Victor included. He says, even if the future is not one we can deny, I will fight by your side till the end. All I really want to take from this quick scene here, ignore the Victor bit because that bothers me, is the snow visuals. And if you're a game player, you know what this means. I know what this means. The snow is here, guys. It's happening. We're here. We're nearly there. And that is the end of the episode. So this week's episode was a little bit, it was quieter than the last two episodes we've had. It wasn't as fast paced, even though there was a fair bit of action going on. Because of the use of foreshadowing, I myself wasn't really shocked. There was no moment this episode where I've gone, oh, I wasn't expecting that. I am 100%, I know where we're going to end. I've mentioned it last week. I definitely think we're ending there. I feel like there's a lot of things in this kind of first season which could have been done different. What I might do, as I've been kind of like hesitating to do it, after it ends, so we've only got 2 episodes to go now anyway, I feel like I might release a separate video after it ends. We'll go into a quiet patch before the next season starts. I might release the video after of just things I would have done differently, my overall view now the season's here as a whole. I might go through that. I'll go through a few things that were missing. I would be very shocked if we get a second season. I don't think there's enough people watching for us to get a second season, and I don't think it's doing well enough to get a second season. There is a lot of people who play the game, and obviously LEX has a lot of money, so maybe they might get it made. Who knows? And thank you guys. You guys have been liking like crazy, so I'm definitely continuing until episode 12. I'm with you guys to the end. You are stuck with me for 2 more episodes. But if you have enjoyed these breakdowns, hopefully this weekend I should have a video going up on my autumn release anime schedule. Kind of schedule not. I'm going to tell you guys what I'm watching, what I'm planning to watch, and what videos I'm going to be releasing, and what seasons are going to be getting the YouTube treatment. I have 3 I think I'm going to do. I don't have enough time as of yet to do more. It takes me an entire 5 hours to do one of these videos, from the watching, the notes, the actual getting all my images up ready and cropped and everything, and then actually recording and editing it. It wouldn't help if I have a habit of going, so you guys are lucky you're hearing the actual kind of edited down version of me cutting that all out. But it does take a lot of time, and then it takes like about an hour to get it uploaded and processed via YouTube. Lots of stuff going on there. I have to thank you guys. Thank you so much. You guys are crushing it. So I am releasing 2 videos at the moment. I've got God of High School. I've got this one. You guys are crushing the other guys with likes and responses. You guys are a lot more reactive than the other guys. So thank you so much. And it's going to be very sad to part ways with Mr. Love in 2 episodes' time, because I am a huge fan. I have been playing quite a lot this week as well, because we've now got the mini house release, and I spent a lot of time grinding my way to get enough gold to buy a piano for Victor. I have the piano in his house now. I'm happy. I'm fine. I've been spending a lot of time on that. So I have been playing a lot more Mr. Love recently, because we've had quite a few nice interactions in the game. There's a lot of things being added into the game now, which is quite... If you're like me, you've finished up to the end of the chapters right now. I can't really read any further because there is no more. I just play the game, and I'm having fun with the extra bits, like these little side quests, and you get to interact with Victor in a set, or boy of good choice, in another place. So there's a lot of things to do aside to that, and obviously I'm collecting things like snowflakes and gold things for the next release, hopefully, if there is one. This episode was just... there's not a lot to say. We had some great visuals. The storytelling was a bit linear this episode. It was kind of, we're going up the tower and that's it, kind of thing. We had a few little bits happen along the way. We've departed from Kiro now. Kiro is gone. Lucian's now gone. The reason I told you to keep an eye on Kiro is because I presume we're going to see it before we cut to a cliffhanger. Kiro himself, obviously, he's been affected by these kind of powers. Lucian's changed. Just keep an eye on the Kiro is all I'm going to say there. Shocked to see Victor back, but it might be something in my head that I kind of forgot that was a thing, but yeah. So Victor is back for next episode, despite being apparently in the future. But we'll go with it, guys, for now. I will definitely be seeing you next episode anyway, because you guys have proven that you guys are listening and you enjoy my videos. So let's do it. I am happy to see this out with you guys. I'm going to be here with you guys until the end, which is in 2 episodes' time. That's it. 2 more weeks of me. Hopefully you guys decide to watch some of my other videos, which, you know, I hope I get to bring some of you guys with me to autumn. There's a lot going on in autumn. There's some stuff that I'm really excited to be watching, and there's some stuff that I'm curious about. I'm guessing because you guys are into otome games, you might follow me for the Moriarty releases, but do ensure you are subbed. Make sure you click the bell so you get a notification when that video goes up, because it might be Saturday, it might be Sunday, or even not Monday because I've got to go to high school. Or it might be kind of shoved in between something. I am planning to have that up quickly so you guys know what I'm watching. I'll give a brief synopsis on the ones that I'm actually releasing and why. Gonna be fun. I can't wait. I will see you guys again next Thursday. I will see you, if you are following everything I do, on Monday for God of High School. We are nearly finished. God of High School's nearly done. We are coming to a close on all these animes now. I think during the downtime, whilst we're waiting for autumn to kick up, I'm going to be releasing like videos on my overall thoughts. We're going to release some videos on maybe even just character breakdowns and some symbology breakdowns, because I had fun doing those and you guys really seem to react well to the symbology stuff. So maybe I'll do that with a different anime whilst we're kind of kicking into another season, kind of thing. I did say I was going to pick up Golden Kamui at some point because I haven't watched it, and I might, maybe even if I just watch a season and give an overall kind of thought on that, could do that whilst we're waiting for autumn to kick up. So who knows? So like, comment, do your thing that you guys do well, because I know you guys do it really well. Hopefully I will see you again soon. Have a good day, guys, and bye bye.